Hello everyone, we're going to be talking about the Warframe 1999 update that just came out, because I am sure if you click this video, you missed a thing or two when this update came out, or you just didn't read the patch notes. One thing to note is that the patch notes were over 70 pages long when DE finally finished writing them up, so there's a lot to unpack here. Now, first and foremost, as most of you know, we have the Warframe 1999 story mission where we meet Clive Rosfield, Arthur Nightingale, and the other members of his resistance group named the Hex. I don't want to get into any story spoilers here, so I won't, but I will let you know that you can build relationships with these characters and even romance them if you're interested. These are things I'm, as I already stated, sure many of you are already aware of. So let's get into the nitty-gritty details of this update. Oh yeah, and first off, they made custom music for this update, and it is incredible. First off, let's talk Arcanes. So you're going to find them over here by Eleanor out in the Halbania Mall. You can always hold Q if you're on PC and just fast travel to her. Let's find her. Eleanor right here. So yeah, go ahead and click that. You'll teleport to her. She's going to be your Arcane dealer during this. Obviously, we can read them all right here, but the patch notes looks nicer, so we're going to go out and tab to those. Here's the patch notes. I will link these in the description below, but let's read out these Arcanes because I think they are pretty solid. First of all, Arcane Bellicose. Gain 6 ability strength for every 250 max health up to 72%. Could be nice on frames like Inaros. Frames like Nidus. Could be solid. Not my cup of tea, not the one I'm excited for, but hey, if you play those frames, let me know how this goes for you. Arcane Truculence, I imagine is how you say that. When gaining 3,000 or more overguard threshold, release a 30-meter radial attack that applies max viral status stacks. So yeah, I play a lot of Kalervo. I'm probably going to be trying that out once I get my hands on it. That sounds incredible. Arcane Impetus. Unique status effects from abilities grants 6% ability strength and 3% ability efficiency for 20 seconds. Now this is one of the ones I am most excited for, because ever since that Varuna augment came out in the Kume update, I have been playing her so much, and if there's anything she does, it is apply unique status effects. So that is immediately going on my Varuna once I max that out. I am very excited to use that. Arcane Kamisado. Attacks from summoned minions increase ability strength by 6% up to 60%. Summons gain 20% movement speed. Now I've seen a lot of hype surrounding this one because it does work on Necro Shadows and Caliban summons from what I've seen. This is just what I've heard the community talking about. If I am wrong on those, correct me in the comments below. But I've seen people excited over those. I don't play either of those frames, so I can't speak for it myself. But there seems to be a lot of hype around this. Arcane Crepuscular. While invisible, gain 30% ability strength and plus 3x final crit multiplier. Now this part is really big, especially if you're going to be playing some Site 09, and oh my god, we will talk about him. He is a blast. I'll probably have a dedicated video about him soon too, but wow, I am immediately thinking about him. I'm immediately thinking about Ashe, Loki, Octavia, although Octavia doesn't really use guns now. Come on, let's be honest here. But yeah, this is awesome. Really great Arcane as well. I like that they're leaning more into the conditional things and actually making the bonuses worth it. Like, this is a good final crit multiplier, I think, is a solid thing to throw in an Arcane that actually makes it worth using. Primary Crux. Okay. This one's also going to be pretty solid, I think. Nothing's coming to mind right now. I'm still in a lot of theory crafting, but on weak point hit, gain plus 30% status chance and plus 6% ammo efficiency for 10 seconds. Stacks up to 10 times. That's great. Here's the one I'm most excited for, though. Out of all these Arcanes, Secondary Enervate. On hit, increase critical chance by 10%. No upper limit mentioned, by the way. Just increases it on hit. Resets after 6 super critical hits. which I believe are red crits. Now, we did the math on this with one of my friend's builds that was subpar, by the way. Think QoL Change that has a extremely high it has a high crit rate, like crit damage multiplier, but only 7% crit. It has a really fast fire rate, and I believe this also counts for multi-shot. You know what? I was thinking about it. I threw together a little mock build here. You can take a look at it. I only have one level in this Arcane. It only affects how many maximum crits you can get. Let's get 20 Corrupted Heavy Gunner Eximus enemies. Steel Path, of course. Let's summon those guys and check this out. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Alright, swap to the new core. And yeah, it's kind of disgusting. And obviously, you're not going to be running into rooms filled to the brim with the level 200 plus Steel Path Heavy Gunner Eximus units. So against a normal group, this is also going to shred. But yeah, a little bit stronger than Cascade, in my opinion. A little stronger than Cascade. So look out for this Arcane for sure on new core. So yeah, this thing, keep an eye out for this if you like a weapon that has low crit, maybe extremely high status, like QoL Change. Oh my god, this thing cooks. And then we have Melee Dodie, hopefully I'm saying that right. Gain 1 crit multiplier for every 10% of puncture status chance on your melee weapon. Haven't tested it. Sounds interesting. Sounds like something I'd want to build around for fun and see how strong it actually gets with this. Can't speak on it myself though. Next, we're going to talk about more Holvania stuff like the calendar and relationships. But first of all, let's talk about this area that we're at. Once you're done with your main story, you'll unlock this thing called the Backroom. It's got everything you need, from your arsenal to your modding station to your foundry, Arcanes right here. You can customize your Atomic Cycle here. Got all sorts of different options. Go ahead and throw on some colors. You got a couple of skins here you can use too. I saw people that had what looked like ephemeras on theirs, but maybe that was just their frame and it was applying it to the Atomic Cycle when we were loading into missions. I don't know. It looked cool though. And, you know, incubator, and say hi to your dog and everything. But you also have another room up here. Again, all of this can be accessed using Q. But Helminth over here. Super Helminth, actually. Looks huge. And then you kind of have your display room, nice little living room area. You can throw something on the TV if you want. So let's just, I don't know, look at some food. Pizza. Yay. You also have your star chart, so you can actually go to planetary systems if you want as well. You don't have to only do Holvania stuff when you're in the back rooms. But codex here and everything. This is where you log in to your computer. You can also access this from the mall if you want, if you go to bounties. But you'll only have the relationship meter area on the one inside your actual room. So you can go here and look at your relationships and everything. I have a lot to do, haven't really dove into this, but we can still talk about it after I talk about the calendar, which is what you're probably going to be way more interested in. So the calendar has its own day-night cycle that goes on in game. Not really day-night cycle. It goes based off of completion rate. So for instance, Wednesday the 6th is where it started me, January 6th, Wednesday, and I had this as a to-do list. So get in mission, kill 10 Eximus, you get a little reward, and then you go to the next node on your calendar, which would be right here, the override. And this brings us to the override system. These are buffs that you can select one of. You can only have one. So I chose Letty because I thought I would just benefit from having higher energy restoration. Any mission I do in Holvania for the rest of the season, and you can see here when the season changes, we'll talk more about that later, but for the rest of the season, whenever I'm in Holvania, I will have this override bonus. Now I could have chosen any of these. Maybe some of these are better than others. Increased magnet capacity could be good depending on what weapons you like. You can check all your active overrides here. I don't quite know what a hex factor is yet. We have hex boosts. We can actually read what a hex factor is in the patch notes once I link those. Go check them out after the video. But these are kind of things you're going to get whenever you have an override node. Then you'll have more to-do lists. You complete these, and then you go to your next node. These prize nodes are so good. You see this right here? Emerald Archon Shard, or 2 Arcanes. Yeah, we're going to go with the Archon Shard. I mean, come on. And then here, we went with Exilus Weapon Adapter over Kuva, but these are not playing around. These are big rewards that you can get, and they're massive. And so now we can kind of talk about seasons. So I've done all of January, but we are in the winter season, so I unlocked the February month. So now currently I am in February in my own instance, and I have a whole new set of things. So I had another to-do list, killed 300 enemies with abilities, Letty's birthday happened, so I could, you know, wish her Merry, or you know, send her a message about her birthday, say happy birthday, hey, what's up. It raises your chemistry, which is like your bond level with each NPC. And then another gift, affinity booster or 2 arcanes. So, you know, took the 2 arcanes. Don't have anything to level right now. And now I'm on another to-do list. Kill 300 Scholar troops with melee weapons. That's one of the factions, one of the 2 factions that were added, so that's cool. More override eventually, gifts, and then we can see what's being offered in March as well. So to-do list, gift. Ooh, I will take that. That's nice. Or 6,000 endo, you know, if you're struggling on endo. I mean, the gift boxes are pretty nice. You can see they give you good rewards. They're not just something to scoff at. But let's talk about seasons now. Seasons are going to be on a 7-day rotation. The only reason it's more than 7 days right now is because the Warframe update dropped on a Friday, and they didn't want to, you know, reset you 3 days afterwards mid-season. Like, they don't want you to be winter when you boot it up on Friday, and then when you boot it up on Monday, it's already spring. So they made the very first one, the one we're currently in, 10 days long. So not this Monday, but next Monday, spring will start, and you'll have, you know, more months to choose from. All of these will reset. You'll have more things you can do, to-do lists, overrides, gifts, things like that. And apparently, if you do have a relationship with people, so like you obviously you can build these up. I haven't done any of these yet. I'm gonna do this on my own time sometime. Probably gonna romance Eleanor or Arthur. Those are the ones I'm interested in the most in. But you can romance any of them. I honestly don't even know who's who based off of their names here. But if you have a romantic interest, once there is a full cycle, basically a full annual cycle, so once you go back to winter on January 1st, on New Year's Eve or whatever, if you log on for that rotation, this is universal, by the way. Everyone's in winter, everyone will be in spring, all together. It's like just a weekly reset thing. If you log in during a weekly reset that New Year happens, apparently you will share a kiss with whoever your love interest is. I don't know if there's any benefits to that. Pablo said that all relationship things have like 0 in-game effects whatsoever, so don't expect it. But, you know, go ahead and do that if you're interested in romancing them. We all saw the Eleanor tongue during the previews, and, you know, how freaky it was. So, of course, a lot of us are going to probably be romancing her. Anyways, what's it called? If you do want to explore all options, though, and I'm just going to pull up the patch notes for this because I don't know where it is in-game, but if you pull up the patch notes for this, you will actually be able to reset their dialogue. Wish I could go farther down to the relationships. I should have thought this through before scrolling, but we're already here. So you got gifting and everything, and then let's scroll up a tiny bit. Here we go. So you are allowed to completely restart. So fresh start. Let me control F that. Or start over. Yeah, here we go. The starting over section. So here, it basically, if you want to, let's say you screw up your romance options or something like that, because you can screw them up, there won't be any like negative effects. You will always be able to start over if you want, or if you want to just, you know, explore all dialogue options. Maybe you want to date everybody. Maybe you want to like romance everybody. Maybe you want to have different, maybe you screwed up some dialogue and you want to see what the other options were later on down the line. You can always select starting over, and this will reset all of their relationship statuses back to 0. Now, you do need to have every character like you in order to progress all the way through your Hex standing. So if you want to get rank 5 with the Hex in Halvania, everybody does need to like you. You don't need to have everyone romanced. You don't need to romance anyone, as a matter of fact. That part's entirely optional. But you do need to invest somewhat into the relationship. That does not involve you interacting with this little messaging minigame they have here. You don't ever need to talk to anyone, I'm pretty sure. You can gain this from just doing bounties. So let me take you to the bounty screen real quick. We'll just step outside. So let's go bounties. You can see here every bounty has its rewards listed, but it also has like Quincy bounty right here, or Owie bounty right here, Amir bounty, Eleanor bounty, and so on. You can level up their standing through this as well. You can level up standing through gifting them things during milestones during your relationship with them, or you can just talk to them after big meetings, or like whenever you message them through your PC or whatever. Can we do that here? No, we can't. You can only do it from your room. So keep that in mind. That is how you raise the relationship, and you will need to raise the relationship if you want to progress all the way through the standing and become part of the pizza party. So keep that in mind. Don't completely ignore this stuff if you want to rush this. Don't ignore it all. Relationships are important. Romance isn't, unless you think it is. But yeah, let's move on. All right, time to talk about game modes. These are things you guys are going to be interested in. They are nice. You can unlock Steel Path. You got to do them each on regular mode first, normal path first. But you can see a bunch of different game modes here. Here we have a different assassination. We have exterminates. We have a couple exterminates, actually. We have a modified kind of survival. They're called Hell Scrubs instead of survivals, and basically the modifier is you need to protect your life support if you don't use it immediately, because it will grow into a monster that is a hassle to deal with. But if you let them turn into that and kill it, it does have some rare drops tied to it that you can probably get out of it. So I recommend killing them a few times, at least the first time, if you're not struggling with life support or with killing enemies. And then we obviously have the PvEVP mode. I'm actually going to talk about that in a sec. We also have Endless Capture. You heard that right. I don't know if you guys caught that during any of the dev streams, but Rebecca let that one slip for like half a second and nobody said a word about it afterwards. Endless Capture is now a thing. Now you don't just go from target to target. You do need to defend a Kavat, and the Kavat kind of sniffs out your target, and then you have to hunt it down and kill it. It does have a modifier, and when it dies, it'll pass that modifier on to all future capture targets if you wish to progress. But it's nice. This is what I'm going to be doing to farm rotation rewards, to get the new weapons to drop. They do drop from this. I did look at the drop tables in the patch notes. You can too. I will link it in the description, as I said. But yeah, this is definitely going to be what I'm farming for rotation rewards, at least early on, to make sure I get all the components for the items I'm building alongside Site 09. It's a good game mode. It's not going to be as fast as just like doing regular captures over and over again, so don't think that this is just going to be like you're getting C rotation rewards in like 2 minutes every time. It's not like disruption speed, I wouldn't say, but it's still pretty fast. It is very fast, faster than you might expect based off of the description I just gave you, but recommend it. Try it out. It's really fun. And now the PvEVP mode. So this is, you don't actually fight other players, you just compete against them in PvE instances. It's a race. You basically play through a bunch of objectives. I've played through it on, regular. Haven't played through it on Steel Path yet. I've just been kind of testing everything out. It's really not that bad. A lot of people are making a big deal out of this. They're saying like it's going to become the most toxic, sweaty thing ever. I played probably 3 or 4 games of it, and I didn't really mind. It was fine. Definitely wasn't the most riveting thing in the world. It's not something I'm going to hop on to like grind out. I'm not going to like boot up the game just to play this, you know what I mean? But it's really not bad, and the rewards are actually pretty good. Let me pull up those rewards for you real quick. Right here. The thing that's nice about it is even if you lose, you still get rewards. So these are the normal rank rewards for winners. You can get 30 Phosphor or an Arcane with 30 guaranteed Phosphor as well. If you win on Steel Path, you get 50 Phosphor or an Arcane, Steel Essence, and 50 guaranteed Phosphor. So definitely a Phosphor farm if you're a winner. And if you're a loser, too bad. I'm just kidding. It actually does have good rewards as well. You at least get Steel Essence and Phosphor or an Arcane. So the rewards aren't bad if you lose, but they are obviously going to be better if you win, so keep that in mind. Oh, also one more thing I forgot to mention. If you complete all of these on Steel Path, you will get a special emote I'll throw on screen right now, and you'll get an awesome Steel Path statue. As you know, Teshin likes to give out those little planetary statues, but Halvania isn't a planet, so instead, you'll get this. And it's freaking awesome. Oh, and we have this tank game mode here. I'll just show you a little clip of that. It is awesome, and totally nothing else follows up after this.
Sharp, don't you think?
About as effective as anything else you've done to stop the tech rot.
Yeah, like I should just be using Stalta. It's hitting the same amount of damage as my sniper, so I'm willing to bet that there's like a limit that you can hit on this thing.
Don't look now, but you've got a Stormfall squad coming your way. I've got a bad feeling. Finish it off.
Get on sight! Hopefully this next boss takes more damage from him. Sight looks like he was built for that cutscene. All right, next up, speaking of Sight, let's talk about him. We're already running a little long in this video, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I might have a dedicated video for him if somebody else doesn't already, but he's got some skills. You know what? I should go to the ability screen for this. His passive already is incredible. He can get up to 300% increased crit chance during a mission, and it lasts for the entire duration of a mission. You build this up by simply getting weak point kills, so like, you know, headshots and stuff. His first ability is also phenomenal. It lets you do increased damage on headshot. It also highlights the headshots, and it gives you punch through. Now look at that distance, 14.5 meters of punch through. May not seem like much, but you can shoot through an entire building. Literally an entire building. It's insane. You'll know what I'm talking about when you play him. He is crazy. 2 is nice. It lets you kind of refill your ammo on the fly with your 2. No need to reload. It also works for your allies. The best part, though, is that it gives you a damage boost, and you get to select what type of element the ammo is. Meaning, if you have your weapon modded for just something like, I don't know, corrosive and heat, you can also throw viral on without having to mod for it, because you can just spawn viral ammo for yourself. His third ability is great because it's his survivability. It's where he goes to, you know, invis, and he gets kills to extend the duration. Now, this does scale with duration pretty heavily, so don't entirely tank your duration. I did run fleeting expertise along with my blind rage, so I had to build some duration to counter that as well. Because yeah, that you definitely want this to be there, because there is a massive cooldown if you let it run out. Luckily, though, as long as you're in the heat of action, this should never run out. You'll be invisible for the entirety of it, which is why some of the new Arcanes would work really well with him, because he is invisible 90% of the time when you're in a fight. And his 4 is his Exalted Weapon. This thing cooks. Oh my god, it's so fun to use. I still am experimenting with it to find out what the best possible build is for it as of right now, but there is a new mod. I'll give you a little sneak peek about it while talking about the weapon. It is a weapon that does indeed slap when you hit people. It benefits from all your perks, and you can mod it. And when you get a critical or a weak head, whenever you hit a weak spot, it ricochets between 4 targets, and that can also penetrate through walls, I believe. So, you know, keep that in mind. That's really nice. Priority QoD. Yeah, that's kind of something, that's a new mod that came out. I'm trying out some builds with it. Not sure if it works here, but, you know, take a read. You see how crazy that looks. Also, magnetic capacity, also a new mod. But that's it. We're moving on to the Nyx and Trinity rework, which I'm not even going to talk about, honestly. I'm just going to show you the Gemini skins. I will show you, you know, screw it, I'll talk about it. Basically, Nyx rework. I don't have a Trinity, so you're going to have to look up the Trinity one on your own, but they made her a lot better in terms of survivability. Her 1 and 2 got reworked. Her 3 and 4 got buffed. Basically, the durations. But Nyx, who we're talking about right now, is nice. She got a new passive. It's also really awesome. Gives you crit chance based on the amount of enemies that are confused. Her 1 now makes it so that enemies that, you know, she takes control of will get a damage boost if you shoot them, and they also deal radiation damage, so they can also convert people or make people crazy, you know what I mean. Her 2 is really solid. It got a massive buff / rework, because now when you throw it out, it does the normal thing, strips armor, slows them down, but it also steals armor from them, so you can even get Overguard from this if you launch it at an Eximus. It will take Overguard and apply it to yourself. It will take their shields, apply it to yourself. It will take armor from them and apply it to yourself. On top of that, whenever you kill an enemy that is affected by it, it will spread to nearby enemies, meaning that you can kind of launch it into a crowd and just keep going with it. It's really nice chain skill. 3, Chaos. I believe all that they did for this was make it so that it actually applies radiation to them, so that it can benefit from anything that has radiation tie-ins, rather than it just being like a separate instance of this thing called Confusion. Now it's actually just 10 stacks of radiation. And the 4 was also changed. Now you can move around in it, and it has a duration, 5 seconds by default, that can be increased through duration mods. Now, whenever it ends, you do have invincibility. That does cap out at 6 seconds. I don't think anything I did can really control that. If you're worried about not being able to hold this as long, the augment for it still lets you hold it indefinitely if you want, but this is really nice if you don't run the augment, so really big rework there. I'm not going to show you Trinity, don't have one on hand that I can show you, but I did explain to you kind of what they did. Now I'm going to show you the Gemini skin. So you can purchase these for 275 plat each. I bought them all for you guys, even though I'm only going to show you one. I actually don't think I'm going to use these too much, but for instance, Eleanor. Yeah, see? it's pretty sick. So now we can just play around as Eleanor. This works in mission, of course. I'm just in my back rooms right now showing it off to you. You can also switch back into them, obviously. So let me switch back into my Nyx real quick. Now it does inherit whatever your cosmetics on your Warframe are, so you can get some weird combinations, like the Signa doesn't carry over the colors, for instance, and that hair coloring isn't the one that I have for her. Like, I actually have a different appearance just for Eleanor, and this is not the appearance that shows up when I use it. Hopefully they add something like that, or I'm just not understanding something fully. But you can also just have a Gemini skin if you want to load in just looking like this. So like we can go into a mission with Eleanor if we want. And we can go ahead and swap into Nyx on the fly if we want with this Eleanor's color scheme. So yeah, not one for one with the Nyx that I use, but actually, I think it might be. Now that I think about it, yeah, I think that actually might be one-to-one. Huh, I don't know. I'll have to experiment with that more. But yeah, they're pretty cool. On top of that, you can also use emotes from other operators or from other proto frames. You just won't transform into them. So that was Aui's. I can show you Arthur's. So you can still use their emotes, you just won't transform into them unless it's their corresponding proto frame. So that's why I'm able to transform into Eleanor here. But yeah, there's the Gemini skins.
How glorious.
Last thing I'm going to talk about here, there's a lot more things that happen in the patch notes. They're just a bunch of minor things. But last thing I'm going to talk about is one of the quality of life changes. Keep in mind, they also made it like the new player experience better, so you're going to get some formas and some slots when you log in, because they're also going to be compensated for these when they make new accounts. But the one thing I'm going to talk about here is another UI change in the arsenal. I always appreciate when DE shares more information with the player in the modding screen, especially when it can help newer players, and that is the forced status effects. Now I can't move my cursor right now, but if you look at the status at the bottom, after you see all the probabilities for all our statuses, you see our forced status effects. Impact on slam attack. Now this is going to be there for basically every melee weapon, but some weapons do have forced procs regardless of how low your status chance is, and those will be shown here. So that is extremely helpful, and maybe it will keep weapons that do have forced effects viable in the eyes of people who aren't aware of that already. So yeah, great change here. And that's all we're going to talk about. Now there's plenty of fixes and small changes, like small value tweaks for certain things. I think Hildren got some changes, but there's a lot of those, so I highly recommend looking through there. Maybe hit Control F, search for whatever you're looking for, like if your frames had a small bug or like an animation glitch. I know there's something with Wukong that they addressed it as well. Go ahead and look through that in the patch notes. I will be linking those. There are 70+ pages. These are just kind of the highlights that I found in it. If you're gonna be looking through that, just be ready. It is a beast of a patch read. Use your search function if there's something in particular you're looking for. If not, though, just scroll down all the way to the bottom and you'll see all the minor tweaks and changes they added as well. Thank you for watching the video, though. This was a long one. Hopefully it was organized enough for you guys to understand everything. If it was, please let me know in the comments below, and if you made it this far, I would always appreciate it if you liked it, but watching this far is enough for me. I'm out. You guys have a great weekend. I'm Haderaxe, signing out. Peace.